Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webcast, JD Edwards UX1 Tips and Tricks. My name is Brooke Bacon, Marketing Coordinator with GSI, and I am very pleased to welcome our main presenter, Tom Gabriel. Tom has over 35 years of experience in JD Edwards product and implementations. He is a regular speaker at our workshops and conferences throughout the year, and he assists organizations in understanding their strategic direction and how to best use their software solutions to achieve the greatest return on their investment. Tom has a deep understanding of software systems and business processes and has held numerous positions throughout his career. So you guys are in for a treat today. So now before we get started, I just wanted to give you a chance to review our safe harbor statement. And now for a quick overview of today's meeting, which will last about 60 minutes. First, we'd like to take a moment to go over a couple of our housekeeping items, as well as provide a brief company overview. And then I will turn it over to Tom for our main presentation, which will last about 40 minutes. And then we'll take a minute to go over our upcoming educational events, and then we will wrap it up with a 10-minute question and answer session. Now, if you'd like to submit a question, you can do so through the questions panel at the bottom of the GoToWebinar console window located on the right side of your screen. Please note that all questions will be answered at the end of the webcast. And if you'd like to minimize your GoToWebinar console during the presentation, just click the right-facing arrow key on the top left of the console. Clicking the left arrow key will return the console so that you can input your questions. And now I'd like to give you a brief overview of GSI. We are a full-service JD Edwards consulting organization, and we are an Oracle Platinum partner that was founded in 2004 and now has over 100 employees. We have offices nationwide and are recognized on the Inc. 5000 list of fastest-growing companies in the U.S. And we specialize in project consulting, managed services, and cloud and hosting services, with all of our services backed with a 100% guarantee. We also provide a broad spectrum of business, functional, technical consulting services for Oracle NetSuite, Oracle Cloud, Salesforce, ServiceNow, and other enterprise applications. In addition, we are a product development company that has many popular products, including Genius, which is our advanced monitoring and performance analytics solution for JD Edwards or any business critical system on any platform, Genesis, which is our load and stress testing application for system design, validation, or expansion for JD Edwards or any web-based business critical system. G Shield, which is our comprehensive security solution for JD Edwards, including password reset and two-factor authentication. Rapid Reconciler, which allows you to effectively manage your inventory, in-transit, and R&V reconciliation processes for any version of Enterprise One or World. And Rapid Approval, which is our Salesforce AppExchange solution that streamlines the approval request process. All right, so now I would like to turn things over to Tom for our main presentation.
Thank you, Brooke. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, so let me grab control, and I believe I have it. Can you see my screen, Brooke?
Yep, I can see your screen.
All right, and welcome everybody. As you can see, I did not hit the Mega Millions jackpot, so I am still with you all today. Hopefully you're doing well. And as Brooke said, today we're going to talk about what we can do in Enterprise One to help us alleviate this need to try and figure out where we have to go to look for information and what we have to do. You know, JD Edwards Enterprise One, the software with its numerous capabilities, in effect, makes it somewhat difficult for people to understand, what do I really do to make my job more efficient? What can I do to make my life easier in my day-to-day process? You know, when you look at JD Edwards and you need to go and look at information and get at information, what do? How do you get there? Do you turn around and do you have things in the carousel and use the carousel to navigate? Or maybe you might turn around and have some breadcrumbs and you use the breadcrumbs to turn around and solicit a menu that you want to go to. Or maybe you store a bunch of things in your favorites and you're going to go and navigate through your favorites. Maybe you're old school and you like your traditional menu navigation. Or maybe you turn around and you're just using the banner bar and you're putting things on top of the banner bar to get where you have to go. As you can see, there's a number of different ways for you to accomplish your task at hand and to get at information that you need to do your day-to-day job. Maybe you have a composed page where you turn around, you have a bunch of information, but you still have to navigate to that composed page. Or maybe you turn around and you have a bunch of icons representing a bunch of different things and applications and reports or whatever, but you still have to search and look and figure out what you need to do. Well, in these series of webinars that we're conducting around the whole UX1 experience, we're trying to give people an understanding as to the different things you can do with different types of UX1 components that are available to you in the latest tools release of the software. You have many, many choices, but the question is, what are you going to do? How do you want to perform your job? So when we think about this, we need to understand that as a user, we have needs of being able to do things in a modern manner, utilizing modern tools and technology. We can't get up and go to a file cabinet and look for paper, right? We can't turn around and we can't be tethered to a PC and only be at our office when we're doing work. We have to have the ability to understand and comprehend what's going to happen so we can cut it off at the pass before things actually happen. We need that ability so we can talk internally and externally and make sense and actually talk about those things that truly need to happen. And we need to be able to do this any time of the day or night and anywhere we are. And that's the unfortunate thing about today's society is, jobs are no longer 9 to 5. We have to be self-sufficient. We have to be able to do things without relying on IT to get us there. And we need to have that intelligence built into the whole system so that we can do this across the entire enterprise. So what we're here to talk about today is you becoming a citizen developer, you, an end user, you, a person that's not a professional developer, you that's a quote-unquote amateur, being able to develop things on your own so that you can turn around and perform at your best. That's what it's all about. And UX1 is a philosophy within Oracle, and it's a direction that they're bringing the software to let you become a citizen developer. UX1 is meant to make it easier for you to operate, easier for you to do your job, and easier for you to personalize your experience. All of this while thinking outside the box. So, again, UX1, it is the latest tools within Enterprise One that allows you to get rapid time to value of your JDE investment, lowers your cost of ownership in that IT no longer has to develop and manage and maintain. You as a user can configure and make things personal rather than worrying about overall customization. And as your organization grows, the tools are going to grow, making it even better for you. So, digital transformation, citizen developer initiatives, that's what UX1 is all about. It is the consumption of all of those objects that Oracle is providing you within the tool set so that you can become your own boss. So, again, UDOs provide that modern intuitive experience. They let you adapt to your business requirement. They are easily integrated to all the applications, and they're a proactive, comprehensive management tool in your organization that's adaptable to your infrastructure. Now, when we talk about user-defined objects, it's very important to understand the you. It's a user, right? These are objects that you create within the Enterprise One tool set. You create these for your own consumption. You view them, you can share them so that others can view them, and you can also have your ability to create them, change them, publish them, whatever, mandated and dictated by your system administrator. Now, this is important. For those of you that don't know already, Oracle has changed its philosophy as to access to those objects that are delivered with the software. In the past, everything was available to everyone. Now, anytime you take an update, anytime you move to a new release, any new objects are locked down. You have to request permission to access and use them. So when we talk about user-defined objects, the ones that are most common are the ones you see on the screen now. The ability to do a query or a watch list or change your grid formats, a Cafe One page or Classic page. We saw an example of a composed page and images and OneView reports. All of these are user-defined objects. And if you're on tools 9.0.2 or higher, these all exist in your system. If you don't see them, if you can't get to them, it means nobody gave you access to them. So you have to understand what is the life cycle of a UDO. Your UDOs can be shared across path codes. They can be secured. You can have certain people only change them while others can view them. So they're like any other object in the system. They have to follow that change management process. Each UDO you create for your own personal consumption. If you want Brooke to see it, I have to request to the administrator that Brooke or a role or everyone has access to that, okay? All of this sharing is done through a new web interface. And if you want to share the UDO, it has to be approved through this new user-defined object application that you see on the screen. So Tom creates it. He says, I want to share it. It's out there. Now my administrator says, fine, I like it. Brooke can have it. He lets Brooke get at it and see it. It follows all other role security functions. So if I give a query to Brooke and she's querying over a database, if there's certain security where she can't see records, it still provides that level of security that she has within the system. And for all of you CNC people out there, the unfortunate part is UDOs, the new UDOs need to be promoted via a web OMW process. This is the process Oracle is moving to for everything in the system. So now people can do promotions outside of the office. So until that point comes, certain objects need to be promoted the old-fashioned way. These UDOs are promoted via a web OMW process. Oracle is making everything very modern and standard. So whatever UDO you look at, wherever you go, be it a query, watch list, OneView report, you're going to see familiar icons. And you're going to see that when I get into the demo as well. You're going to be able to create and save. You're going to be able to take one and save it as something different. You're going to be able to request to publish, or you're going to be able to check it out so you can make changes to it. And then if you create something just as a one-off or it's stale and no longer needed, you can delete it. So Tom, when I create mine, I'm going to see in a list the fact that I have my own personal ones to consume. If I've requested Brooke to get it, I'm going to see it as pending approval. If I checked it out, I'm going to see it as being reworked. Or if it's been rejected by the approver, it's going to be in reworked. And if I see reserved, those are the ones that I'm saying, hey, I want to make changes to them even though they're shared. And last but not least, the shared ones are ones that everybody can look at. So it's important for us to realize that when you think about doing anything that is a UDO related object, you need to make sure that you have access in your software, in your environment. Now, for those of you that are on Enterprise 1, 9.1 or 9.2, all of these UDOs are out there already. So if you're not seeing them, it's the fact that you're restricted. For those of you that are on release 9.0, it depends on what tools release level you're at. And naturally, for those of you below 9.0, you need to upgrade to get to this point so you can get them. So what are we going to talk about today? What I'm going to talk to you today about is the Enterprise One search and how you as a user can create your own search categories, your own search routines to look for information. Searching, it's a very easy way for you to locate and look at data, be able to be anywhere in the system and search for something other than, as I said at the beginning, having to go to different applications or going to different menus or whatever. You're going to be able to search across any combination of master data and transactional data. And it's a citizen developer thing. It means that it's meant for the end user to be able to go ahead and do. So that's what we're going to do today. What we're going to do is we're going to look and create. If you look on the right-hand side, you'll see that when I look at my user ID, when I sign on, you'll see I have a thing that says manage content. And when I go under there, I'm going to see something that says search groups. I'm now going to be able to create a search where whenever I'm anywhere in the system, if I go to that box at the top where it says search with the little magnifying glass, I'm going to be able to invoke that search capability. So that's what we're going to do. So Brooke, while I get this set up, you just tell me if you could continue to see my screen.
Yep, I can see it.
Thank you so much. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sign on. And for those of you that are curious, I am signing on to an Oracle Lab environment, okay? So this is literally an Oracle Lab environment that we have access to. And one of the things I want to mention to all of you on the webinar, one of the things GSI offers our clients and people, for those of you that maybe aren't on these latest releases, or maybe you want to play a little bit and you want to putz around, we offer our clients access to a lab environment so that they can get on and see how easy it is and play around and do whatever they need to do. So if in fact you feel the need to do so, by all means, you can just let us know and we can go from there. So this is what I'm going to do. Here we are just on the JD Edwards, home screen. And what I want to do is I want to make believe that I am somebody dealing with accounts receivable. And I want to be able that if somebody asks me a question about a check that just came in or whatever, I want to be able to see what account receivable document that's related to. And I want to drill back down into the address record to see the phone numbers and who I should call and what I should do. So I want to create a search to do that. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say I want to manage content and I want to create a search group. So what it's going to do and start with is it's going to say to me, what do you want to add? Do you want to add a table or a view? Now, I'm going to add a table, and if we don't know what it is we're looking to add, I can hit my little visual assist guy, and I know I want to do something with the customer ledger inquiry, right? So if I just say customer ledger, and I say find, All of a sudden I see, here's my customer ledger table. I'm going to select it. And I want to add it into my search group. And when I do this, it says, okay, your customer ledger, here's all the fields that are available in the customer ledger. What fields might you want to see? Well, nice part about this is it's in alphabetic order, so it makes it easy. I want to see the address number. And as soon as I start hitting on things, it's showing me what I've selected, and it's giving me some other things that we're going to talk about in a minute. Maybe I want to see what the name is. I want to see the document type and document number, right? So there's my document type. Oh, wrong one. Let me get rid of him. We want this guy instead. Let's get my document number. Maybe I want to see my due date and my open amount. So far, very painless, very easy, very painless. The only thing Tom has to understand is he has to be able to understand the alphabet. So once Tom understands the alphabet, he'll be okay. Now let's talk about this. When I do my search, it's going to bring back 20 records that meet the criteria. Now, what's the criteria? This filter button here says whenever I put in the search variable, what fields do I want to look at when I'm looking at my search results? Well, maybe I want to look at all of these fields when I look at my search result. If I only wanted to put in the name and didn't want to worry about these other fields, I'd simply deselect them. But for argument's sake, I want to be able to search across all of this. How do I want the page to look? And for those of you that have played with, the column format changes and things like that, you'll understand that you can define how many columns you want and how many rows you want of data. Well, maybe what I want to do is I want to see, and again, when I click in this, it's going to bring up the list of these values. So what I'm doing is simply saying, how do I want these values laid out across my page? So when I click on the first one, maybe I want to see the address number. And when I click on the next one, maybe I want to see the name. And again, you're getting the flavor, right? The next one, I want to see my document type. And maybe right next to that, I want to see my document number. Then I'm going to see my due date. And then I'll add one more column, and I'll do my open amount. So now when my search results pop up, this is the way the column's going to look. Now I could end it here, and I can say I want to have one search, and all it does is just bring me back these results. But what happens if I want to link it to some other information? What happens if I want to be able to see not only the phone number of who to call, but the person I should call and the mailing address? Well, I can go to related information, and now what it's going to say is, what do you want to add as related information? So when I click on this icon, it's going to say, what do you want to add? Well, again, I want to add a table, and you can use this icon. I'll show you one last time, but then after this, I'll just turn around and do it myself. But let's say you want to turn around and you want to look at the phone numbers, right? So you could turn around and say, I want to search on phone. And you'll see here, the F0115 is my phone number table. So I could say, I want to see my phone numbers. The only thing you have to know is, how do you link the two together? How do you link your initial customer ledger to this phone number? Well, you link it by what? The address number. And you come here to this field and you say, I want to map it to my original search, and I want to map it to what? Well, you want to map it to the address number. And now, what do I want to display when I see this? Well, maybe I want to display the address number. I want to see the phone type. I want to turn around and see the actual phone number. And maybe I want to see the actual related person ID, i.e., what person am I calling? So now I've gotten my phone numbers. Well, that's great, but maybe now what I also want to do is I also want to turn around and I want to see the people. So now, again, this is a table, and this is going to be my who's who, and you could have searched for this as well, right? So now here's my who's who. What do I want to see here? Maybe I want to see my mailing name, the person that I'm actually, going to call, and I want to see what kind of contact it is. And last but not least, maybe I also want to see the physical address. I want to actually see where are these people located. So again, you can search for it, but again, this is going to be my address by effectivity date, right? So now I come back and I say, okay, what would I like to see here? Well, I want to see everything. I want to see his full address, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? I want to be able to see the city. I want to be able to see the state. And I want to be able to see the postal code. And again, what am I linking this to? I am linking this to my address number. Now, if memory serves me right, I didn't do that on this address book who's who. We didn't link it to anything. So I come back here and I say I want to link it to my address number. So now, right now, what do I have? I have my main search over my customer ledger, my main search. When it comes back, I want to be able to see some related information. But what happens if, in fact, when I'm looking at something, I want to launch an application? I actually want to get into something. Well, now I can come to action and I can say, what do I want to launch? Well, maybe I want to launch my customer ledger inquiry application. So again, if I didn't know what it was, I can come over here and I can say, let me see my customer ledger. And again, what we have to remember is when I pick this up and we get back here, right? Here's my customer ledger. This is what we have to know. Within JD Edwards, you have multiple forms and multiple versions. You have to make sure you pick the form and version that you want. Now, right now, I know it's not form E. I know that I want form A, and I know that it's version ZJDE01. So now I'm going to say, okay, it's going to come back now, and it's going to say, you're going to drill into this application, but when I launch the application from looking at this record I found, what is that linked to? So again, I have to say I'm linking this to my address number. Now again, very easy. There's other things we can do. We can, filter on other things. We can add an additional action or whatever. But for the most part, let's make believe this is all I want. Look at my icons up here that I showed you on the PowerPoint. This first icon says save. So I'm going to save it, and I'm going to call it Webcast. Now, naturally, you'd call it something a little more germane, right? You might call it customer inquiry or whatever. But right now, we've created a search that if I get out of this application and go back to my menu, we've created a search that if I come here now and type in something, right? Notice I get a box and it says, here's all the different searches I created. Do I want to look across all of these? And I'll show you that in a minute. Or do you want to look at just one of them? Well, I just created this Webcast. So let's search for capital across Webcast. And look what I said. In my customer ledger, let me see anything that says capital. Watch what happens. Remember I said we can search across any of these values? Watch what happens if I put the value 3233. If I put the value 3233, notice it's searching and it only found this. What happens if I said I want to search for 250? Notice it found my amount for 250. I'm sorry, right? It found my amount for 250. What happens if you only wanted to search for RUs? It only bring you RUs. So in my example, let's make believe that I'm sitting at my desk and I just got a check for $225,000. And I said, what is that for? Who is it for? I can say 225,000. Oh, the only thing I have out there is for Capital Systems, this account. My little I icon is the related information. Remember that related information? The phone numbers, the address book, who's who, the address by date to see where the mailing date is. So I can look at the check and say, oh yeah, this is truly from them. Or maybe I look at this and I say, wait a minute, I want to actually go what? To the customer ledger inquiry screen. And when I launch it, it passes back the address number. Here I am in that application, and I can do whatever it is I need to do. When I close this out, I go right back to my search screen. So again, hopefully you can see, number one, how easy this is and how dynamic it is. Now, what would happen if I turned around and I said, I want to search across everything? Well, all those other searches, right, have all those other components and areas and things like that. So look at what you can do. Across all my searches, I have an item that's called capital good. And I can turn around and see related information for that. I can see the location. I can see bill of material or part list, right? Here's mine that we added before, right? Well, there's two of them out there for the same thing. But you're getting the flavor of what you can do, right? Maybe I turn around and I say pedal. And when I say pedal, now I see a bunch of other things, a bunch of other item master records, right? And when I come in and look at this, well, this one, you know, the same thing. So you're getting the flavor of what you can do with the search capability. And again, notice when I do it across all of them, if I want to narrow things down, like let's go back to capital again. If I go back to capital and it brings back all of these results, excuse me, I can turn around now and say, no, wait a minute, I only want to look at this one now. And when I click on it, it will just narrow it down to the one. So again, a lot of flexibility in what you can or can't do. So that is searching. The thing you need to know and the thing you have to worry about is this. You need to have authority to create the search group, number one. Number two, if you say to yourself, well, geez, Tom, I don't know the forms, I don't know really what I'm looking at, you can literally just go in, for argument's sake, and you can say, all right, let's go into customer ledger inquiry, right? I can go into financials, I can go into AR, go into daily processing, right? And I could turn around and I can say, okay, let's go into customer ledger inquiry. You can actually just open up your application. And if you're ever concerned, simply hit the question mark, say about, and here is your application, your version, and your form. So you can always understand what it is you're looking to do and grab that. and then bring it in to your search grid. Now, you saw that we can do both. You see that we can do both tables as well as views. Where a table started with an F, a view starts with a V for Victor or V for view. Okay? So with that, let me jump back and let me finish up showing you and talking to you about some other things. JD Edwards, the product, the tool. Not only are tons of things being done regarding application enhancements, but look at Enterprise One Search. Look at some analytic components, right? If we move forward, there's more things that are being done from a tools perspective that you as a citizen developer can leverage, not just application enhancements. So it's important for you, if you look at all of these things, not only are all of the ones that say planned happening, the majority of the ones that say in research will happen as well. So you can see that if you get to release 9.2, it's important to get to that release level. Because if you're on release 9.2, you're going to be able to get all of these things. And the nice thing about it is, when you go to Enterprise One 9.2, originally it was supported through 2028. Oracle has changed that now. 12 years. You will get 12 years of support if you get to Enterprise One 9.2. You will get all of these things that let you become a citizen developer, let you take control of how you need to work and how you need to act. You'll become empowered. You'll be able to make the choice you need to make so that you can get and achieve what you need to achieve. And you'll be able to pass the baton from IT over to yourself so that your organization and yourself becomes more efficient. What you want to be able to do is, unshackle yourself, unshackle the organization from having to invest in supporting you and supporting the system. The system is becoming easy enough now for you to be able to do things on your own. You need to remember that digital technologies, their strength isn't in the technology itself. Their strength is how you and your company absorb and use those in your business to transform your business. ERP is going to keep changing. Open World is this week. There's stuff being said in Open World right now that when we have our webinar, for the what happened in Open World, you'll hear some of the major points. Collaborate is happening next April. Things are going to change and things are going to be done so they can announce it at Collaborate. ERP is always changing. You need to learn to thrive. You need to learn how to transform your business by using these technologies, how you harness alignment within your organization and your customers, how doing all this is going to let you reach for new opportunities, all while focusing in your business and industry, also providing you choice and giving you the ability to engage in new ideas. So, with that, Ms. Bacon, I'm going to toss it back over to you.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me know when you can see my screen.
Okay, I can see it, Brooke.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tom. I really appreciate it. That was great. There are a few follow-up items that I want to discuss, and then we will move into our question and answer section of our webcast. So our webcast today is a part of GSI's free ongoing educational webcast series on JD Edwards, and our upcoming webcasts are currently listed on the screen. And to view our most up-to-date schedule, please visit getgsi.com/webcasts. And we offer extensive free educational resources for our JD Edwards community. We have our weekly educational webcasts our monthly newsletter called the GSI Insider, our online resource center where you can access our on-demand webcasts, white papers, and we also have on-site and virtual workshops. Also, if you'd like to sign up for our weekly email reminders on upcoming webcasts and our monthly newsletter, or create an account to go to our resource center, go to getgsi.com, go to platforms, and then you can select JD Edwards, and then you can select the appropriate link on the left where you see newsletters, webcasts, and resources. All right, so now I see that we have a couple questions here, and I just wanted to remind, oh, sorry.
No, I'm sorry, Brooke. I was going to say that I can read them myself, but
okay.
You can let people know that they can still enter them.
Yeah,
if they need to.
Yeah, so if you want to submit a question, or if you hear a question that prompts another question, you can do so using the question panel on the GoToWebinar console window on the right side of your screen. And if you did minimize your console earlier, please click the left-facing arrow to redisplay the questions panel. And Tom, did you want to read them, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I think it'll be easier, Brooke, if I just read them, okay?
Go for it, yep.
All right, thank you. So the first question is, and I apologize if I mispronounce this, it's from Fazella. And the question is, how did we get the search icon to show? So again, if you are authorized to be able to utilize the search within your organization, you will see the search icon as part of your, sign on when you sign on. Again, a lot of organizations, on the one hand, 4, 5, 6 years ago, people always complained that, hey, everybody got everything and now we have to worry about locking it down. Well, now that Oracle lets nobody get anything and you have to give it to them, they're getting the same kind of statement. Well, now I have to give it back to everybody. You're only going to be able to see it if, in fact, you have authority to that capability within the software. So you're going to have to go to your CNC and admin people and understand what you need to do. The next question is from William. He needs to know, they're currently on apps 9.0. What tools release do I need? For those common UDOs I showed you, you need to be on 9.0.2 for all of them but a composed page and images. For composed pages and images, you need it to be, on tools release 9.2. When it comes to the search capability, I don't know what tools release specifically for searches, but I'm going to say that if you get up at least to a tools 9.1, 9.2, you're going to be fine, okay? The next question is from Rama. They want to know, for creating custom watch lists, do we have to have OneView Foundation license? And also, to view a custom watch list and share them, do we need to have OneView reporting? The answer is, in prior releases, yes, you needed OneView to have watch lists. Now you can have watch lists without a OneView license. So again, depending upon the release you're on, if you're on a 9.1, 9.2 release, you do not need to have OneView reporting in order to utilize watch lists or for other people to see watch lists, okay? The next question comes from Dawn. She would like to know, and let me expand this a little. She wants to know, is UX1 a more powerful idea of OneView reports? How are they different? Dawn, I can't begin to tell you how many times I try to tell this to people, and for whatever reason, it's falling on deaf ears. UX1 is not a product. UX1 is not an application. UX1 is not a reporting tool. UX1 is a branding statement from Oracle that tells people, turn around and use the UDOs, use OneView reports, use Cafe One, use watch lists to make your life easier. So UX1 is a more powerful idea in the sense that you can take a composed page and put multiple things together. It is Oracle's statement of, take advantage of the capabilities in the software so that you don't have to bounce around and have multiple, IDs open at the same time or whatever. The next question is for Cafe One, do we need to have developers to create and share them, or can a citizen developer share them? There's a big difference between Cafe One and a composed page. Cafe One utilizes the concept of portlets and joins panels together. Unless you have a very savvy user that has that technical bent to them, Cafe One is basically more of a developer driven tool than a composed page, simply because it uses portlets. And if you can think about a Cafe One page having 4 quadrants, you literally can change values in one pane and have it drive the change into all the other panes. So I'm going to say you would need a developer. The next question from Bill is, does GSI have a list of all of what everyone needs to do in order to turn on UDO settings? It is in the Oracle tool, the Oracle documentation, and I'm going to tell you, Bill, that it is a pretty difficult, as in all things Oracle CNC related, it's a pretty difficult thing to really do. But our group, our CNC group, we've done it enough times for many clients that we're aware of what you have to look for and what you have to turn on. So the answer to your question is yes, we do have a list of what you do. But again, you have to remember, with different architecture, different databases, different things, there's going to be little tweaks here and there that you have to do. So it's not a very simple thing. Can you use the search to look for application by name or application number? For an example, I want to find where customer ledger is everywhere in my menus or on an E1 page. So you're not going to be able to use this search I showed you to be able to see everywhere where the customer ledger application appears. That's not the intent of what this is for. So the answer is, unfortunately, no. We being GSI, we had a different search page that we set up that did that. And unfortunately, when they refreshed my environment, I lost it, and I wanted myself to try and figure out how they did it, but it's gone now. So how do the searches affect performance? Can they slow down the system? The answer is no. It's a minimal thing. This is from Ellen. You could see right now when I was searching across my entire database, and they were coming back relatively quick, even though I had that one pane with God knows how many searches open. So it's not a performance drain. Can you turn UDO options on by environment? I'd like certain ones to play without affecting what shows up in others. And this is from Dawn. And the answer to that is yes, you can, Dawn. You can have an environment where UDOs are set up and your users are playing and they're putzing and everything else. And then you can decide, okay, these are the ones I want to promote up to production. And these are the roles that I want to have access to and things of that nature. We're working with a client right now in doing exactly that, having them have in their what they call their development environment, all UDOs exposed, but then they're only going to promote up to QA and production those that they want to promote up. All right, how do you share the searches and is it secure? What you share is when I created the search group, okay? So when I created that search group called Webcasts, that I have to share to other people and roles. If I don't, when they went to search, they would only see those search categories that they were authorized to. So again, as I said in the PowerPoint, once I created Webcast, I would now have to hit the icon to request to publish it, and that would put it through that promotion process, okay? A follow-up question regarding licenses for watch lists. Are there canned watch lists with 9.2 release that can be used without a license? The answer to that is no, right? So those canned watch lists, like if you saw the screen I was on, all of those are coming with either pre-built OneView content or they're coming from pre-built UX1 roles that were loaded into the system. Other than that, you'd have to create your own, okay? All right. The next question from Rama. Has there been any improvements for cross-reference build for searching for tables, where they're used, date items, etc.? I'm not a technical person, but I can tell you with 75-80% certainty that the builds are pretty much the same. Now, efficiencies in the sense of, might they have gotten a little quicker running and everything else? Yes, but the way to do them and run them, they're pretty much still all the same. All right. So again, Brooke, this looks like the end of the questions. If somebody else has a question they'd like to submit or whatever, I can hang out for a second. If there's anything else you need to say to anybody, Brooke,
Yeah.
More than happy to let you do that.
Thanks, Tom. Great. That was great. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for your questions today. I just want to follow up really quick with a few follow-up items and then we'll let you go. Just as a follow-up from today's webcast, we ask that you complete a short 1-minute survey when you exit. You will be receiving an email with a link to our resource center on our website where you can access the recording from today's webcast as well as a copy of the presentation. And after today's webcast, anyone that attended the entire webcast will be eligible to win a $25 Amazon gift card, and we will notify the winner. And if you do have any follow-up questions, you can contact Tom or myself. Tom's information is on the screen currently, and we will get back to you. Thank you so much again for attending our presentation today, and thank you so much, Tom, for your presentation. And we hope that you guys have a great day.
All right. Thank you so much, Brooke. Thanks, everybody, and good luck.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.